All right, everybody, welcome back to Earth Science Page 3. What I'm going to have you do here, now I'd like to do this several times throughout the rest of this packet, is I'm going to say, go ahead and do this. Give me just a sec, I'll tell you when. Go ahead and do this, and then restart the video, and I'll go through it with you. There's times where you got to experiment a little bit to get to really make this work. So what I'd like you to do is try those questions. They're just like the ones on the top page, so that should be no big surprise. There's one that somebody always argues with. We'll talk about that. And I want you to go ahead and try this map. This one is actually, it's from a Regents, so this is like the level of difficulty you can expect in the Regents. We got more of those below. You'll see it. And this has to do with earthquakes. This was like the strength of an earthquake, so 8 being the strongest. There's a fault zone down here, the New Madrid fault zone, that occasionally goes off. It's a strange one. It's an interplate one. Usually all our earthquakes are out west, but we get some right here occasionally. So the further away you go from that, the weaker the feeling is, and that's what these numbers are going to represent. So go ahead and do those. Don't do this one, though. So stop sign. Let's see how efficiently I can draw one of those. Oh, pretty good. They look just like that. So do the top questions, do that, and then restart the video, and let's do this one together. Okay, sound good? So go ahead and pause the video right about now. All right. Hopefully you paused. Now that we've paused and you filled all this stuff out, let's see how you did. Do isolines ever touch across each other? No. Do isolines usually have sharp angles or gentle curves? Gentle curves. What do all points on an isoline have in common? They're the same value. Whatever it is on that map, that value that's represented, all points on that line have the same value. Do isolines ever end except at the end of a map? Sometimes they do make complete circles, so, right, no, they don't. Is the interval from one line to the next always the same on every map? On every map, no. I don't know if you remember doing the topo maps, but we had topo maps that went like by 10 feet intervals, 20 feet intervals, and if you get up into mountains where there's a lot of relief, you need to go maybe by 50s and even hundreds, right? So depending on the map you pick, there's a different interval. Now, number 7 is like speaking to one map. So if you pick up one map, should the interval be the same from one line to the next? Yes. There are very rare circumstances where that rule gets broken on topographic maps, but they'll tell you at the bottom, there'll be a little box saying, we're breaking this rule, here's the deal. Where I used to teach in Chittenango is like that. The north half of Chittenango, from the town of Chittenango north up towards Oneida Lake, is like dead flat. The south half of Chittenango, heading up a big, huge hill up to Casanova, is very, 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 there's a ton of relief. I mean, there's a nice state park there, Chittenango Falls State Park. It's a big, deep valley. So you really, on one map, excuse me, since the map ended up being that square, they had to break the rule. They had to say, okay, down here in the south, we need a higher interval than up here in the north. So attention, everybody, we're breaking this rule. In general, and certainly in meteorology, they should always have the same interval between them. Going back to number 6, did I skip? Do they tend to make parallel curves? Yes, they do. Does every isoline have one side where the numbers are higher and one side where the numbers are lower? Now, some people like to argue this. They like to say, well, what about the circle ones? But here's the deal. Let's go back up to what I did here on the barbecue map. All the numbers, sorry, I wanted my pen. Like, it's clearly, yes, on a map like this, the first one we did, right? All the numbers on one side are higher, all the numbers on the other side are lower. And it's also the case on this, but sometimes people miss this. If I say that side of the 3 line, all the numbers are, they're all lower. Even if we come all the way around to this side, I'm still on that side of the 3 line and all the numbers are lower, and I'm on that side of the 3 line, all the numbers are lower. Those 3 purple arrows are the same thing, right? Or on this side of the 3 line, those numbers are higher. So that rule still is a thing. Just because these made loops doesn't mean that rule still exists. So yeah, it still is a rule that on one side of the line, on one side of the 3, there's lower numbers, on one side there's higher numbers. So if that was a bit of a head scratcher, that's good. If you had to think about that, that's good. I appreciate that you're thinking. Yes. Okay, next, let's do some drawing of Isolines. Again, my strategy is usually to start with either the highest or lowest and kind of work your way out. I mean, it feels natural to start with the 4 here. I think it might even be easier to start with the 8. You want to start with the 8? Let's start with the 8. If you do it the other way, that's okay. We're going to go with blue this time. I don't care if you guys do different colors. I'm just kind of, I don't know, breaking the monotony, right? I'm going to go with a slightly thinner line too, which might be valuable. I don't know if you guys want to play with this as you're doing it. I mean, clearly, if you were to try to draw it like this, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So let's see what it looks like at 0.5. I've done them all at 1 so far. Maybe this will be a little nicer because we're going to get to some that are going to require really small lines and a good amount of focus. All right, 7, 7. I know there's a 7 between 6 and 8. 7. Oh, shoot. Look at that. See? What did I say at the beginning? You can do these for years and years and years and years, but the process is sometimes as you're doing it, you make mistakes. That's why we use erasables. If this were a paper and a pen, maybe say, Mr. Finnerty, can I have another one of these? There we go. Problem solved. 6. Lower numbers on the outside. 6. 5 is lower. 6. 6. 6. 6. Good. Oh, 5 way over there. I know there's some always on this map that mess people up, but that's what we. Oh, look at that! I see. I did it again. But that's okay. That's the process. And I'm not doing that on purpose. It might it might look like I'm making mistakes on purpose to like show that it's no big deal, which it is no big deal. But those are honest to goodness mistakes, and again, that's part of this process. Draw a line, see how it doesn't work with the next line, erase it and start over. As much as can be frustrating, that's a little easier than like erasing and making a mess. We can end up with a pretty nice map. 4s. And you can go right through Lake Michigan there. A couple of people always ask that, like, what should I do with the lake? Nope, doesn't matter. Go right through it. You'll be good. All right, there it is. There's that map. Hopefully you ended up something kind of like that, or if you didn't, saw your mistakes. Define isoline. Just to remember what it is a line connecting points of equal value. All right, this guy. So this is going to be one where if you are trying to connect every single line, you're going to get yourself in deep trouble pretty soon. So I'm going green. I don't like that mossy green. I like that. If it shows up. How about that green? All right, we're going green. Again, I like to start with either the lowest or the highest, and I'm thinking on this one, the lowest is definitely the easiest. And the lowest I see is 28. So if you're a rookie and you jump right into this thing and you didn't stop there at my awesome stop sign and go back to watch a video, maybe you took this 28 and you tried to go around all of these, around all of these, around all of these, and around all of these, and it'd be frustrating. And then when you did the 29, trying to do that again, it hopefully would be apparent that that's just plain not going to work. So keep it simple. Use less pen lead. That's what this is. Use less Cami Magic ink. I'm just going to make mine go through the 28 a tiny bit better than that. And just go from the edge of the map through the 28. Job done. Again, You don't hear teachers say this very much. The less you write, the more likely it is you're going to be correct. All right, 29. Where does it go? Well, I know that there's got to be a 29 between 30 and 28, or you use the philosophy of I'm going to keep all the higher numbers on one side, all the lower numbers on the other side. So this 29 line goes here with all the numbers that are in the 30s up above. Now, could you go off the map and come back on? Sure. I think this time I won't. I think this time I'll just go right up there. Hit the 29. Off the edge of that this time, though, because that's going to be, we got another one to worry about down here. But, and again, a rookie mistake is going to be that people want to try to make this line go like all the way, like underneath those three numbers over to here, all the way around those, and it turns into a mess, and a frustrating mess at that. So get less frustrated, write less, take less time. Those all sound like, good things, right? And it's more likely that you're going to be correct. So we know that line really does go off the map a little bit. We don't really get concerned about where, but it does. And then pops back on here. And then probably goes off the map again and comes back on here. There you go. There's one line that's the value 29, whatever this 29 represents. We are only seeing portions of that line. The rest go off the map. And that's great. All right, same philosophy with a 30. Could you go underneath that 31 there? Yeah. Is it a pain? Yeah, so don't do it. $30, $30, $30. $30, $30, $30. $30. I'm going off the map again. Coming back on here. 30. I don't know what works best for you folks. I mean, if you want to pause in between each line, I'm going to be watching your PDFs during class and checking on them afterwards. I do want this done. Don't just watch the video and say, I get that. I want to see it in practice. 31. We could probably get this whole one on the map now. Higher numbers are on that side. I mean, your call. I don't know. How's the mouse going to want to do it? You could have gone off the map a little bit there and come back on. No big deal. I didn't. Neither one is wrong. There we go. $32. Because I've done this one before, I know that I need a little space here, so I'm making that like on purpose a little bit bigger. I remember something about we need a couple of lines. Yeah, so the 33 here. Now the 33, again, what rookie mistakes might we have? People will just do that. I've had people do like this weird sausage shaped thing like this. That doesn't follow the rules because then you're going to have higher numbers that belong inside the circle. So that's a no-no. And if you did that, that's all right. Because we're all learning. So the way the 33 really should go, it's got to encompass the higher numbers. Whoop, got a little excited there. There we go. 34. Has to go around the 35, and the same principle as the 33. I'm going to go around those two. One more classic rookie mistake. People will just say, okay, last one, 35. I'm good. The problem there is that breaks the rule, and I suppose I didn't say this is a specific rule at the top, but we're going to say it now. If that line has the value 35, it's got to go through all the 35s on the map. But this one didn't touch the 35 at all. The 35 needs a line that goes through it with the value 35. So just through it, back, job done. Sound good? All right, that's page 3, folks. And again, we're going to have plenty of time this week. Don't try to cram through these things. We're not in a race. I mean, don't take a double period and do one of them. But if you need a little bit of break here and there, stop, stretch, take a breather. And we'll be back in a few minutes for page 4.